As we have learned that TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, that is, TypeScript maintains the runtime behavior of JavaScript. It means it is very important to have the knowledge of JavaScript very well to actually get dived into TypeScript, right? So, history of JavaScript. We'll understand what is the history of JavaScript and what are the different problems of JavaScript, because when you say you're writing a new language and you are adding some powers to the existing JavaScript, it's not just the powers to enhance the language, but also the powers can be to solve the existing problems in the current programming language like JavaScript, right? So, but what is actually a JavaScript, how it was evolved, and what are the different problems in it, we'll try to foresee in this video. So first, JavaScript was actually was used only on the front end side in the browser, written by Netscape. Actually, it's a plain scripting language where in the times of where HTML and CSS were dumb languages, like you don't have any of the logic or control statements which can be possible in HTML and CSS, because those are just languages which you write and they just appear on the browser window. So you needed some power of programming where you can apply if-else conditions, loops, and you reuse some logic or iterate through an array of data. Any of such things were not available. So JavaScript actually gave life to a website by making it dynamic. So the first use case of JavaScript was to make it dynamic. But later, the companies were growing and the business were growing. So conversion of online business was growing rapidly. So there the evolution of JavaScript actually got started, where now JavaScript actually gives a lot of power to the front-end technologies, giving the local storage and all of this. Maybe all these are browser related things, but how JavaScript internally executes is also very important, because JavaScript is, in a one word, I would say it's a weird language where it behaves very differently when compared to other programming languages. You need to see that by adding few more powers in the browser, JavaScript was very well used on the browser, wherein like JavaScript has a runtime engine, that is V8 for Chrome, SpiderMonkey for Firefox, etc. So place where JavaScript runs is actually different. Maybe it is dependent on different browser engines, because each one adopted different JavaScript engine. But that's the reason you find out that you write one piece of code, it works in Chrome and it doesn't work in Internet Explorer, because these guys use different JavaScript engines behind the scenes. So what JavaScript actually is, a programming language where you run it. So that's the runtime environment is the engine, and adding that power like XHR call, like Ajax calls, and all of this made JavaScript very powerful on the front end. And then we had many more libraries which had added to the JavaScript, which increased the power of JavaScript a bit more. But later, JavaScript was evolved to a complete full stack developing language, full stack programming language. It means once you learn JavaScript, you have the power of you can build backend applications, you can deal with databases, you can deal with file systems, and all of these was possible because the JavaScript engine was the one core part where you write a piece of JavaScript code, it executes there and it gives you the output. So as long as you have that engine with you, you can use that thing anywhere. So we started moving from front end to where it was a simple dynamic language to it became more powerful by adding timeouts, intervals, event loop, and all of these stuff, which made it very good programming language. And then we moved it onto the backend by leveraging all the engine concepts. We added event loop, event queues, and microtask queues, and all of this. And then it has become a very strong competitor for many backend programming languages, wherein you can execute millions of requests in a with a single-threaded asynchronous programming concept, where it acts as a non-blocking code. You get the request and push it to other working queues, and your main thread is already available for taking more number of requests. So JavaScript, though it runs on a single thread, it is very capable of handling lots of requests. So the place where JavaScript started, the reason why I'm mentioning all of this is when JavaScript was created, it was only kept in mind that it will be used to on the browser. But by adding more and more powers to it, more libraries to it, more and more stuff to it, we started using it at different place. Now, when you design something for keeping something in mind, and now you're completely breaking it and coming on to in a different direction where you want to use it completely in a full-fledged full stack programming language, then some of the things will definitely deviate because this was not the purpose of JavaScript. But yeah, it is capable of doing all of this. People identified it is capable of doing all of this. That's when front end and back end people were using it, they encountered different problems in JavaScript, which we are going to discuss just now. So all of these problems needs to be addressed. So there are many ways of addressing, but to make the developers' life easier, we brought in the TypeScript, right? So let's see what are the different problems inside JavaScript which we have to take care of, right? I have opened a text editor, so we'll see some of the weird things which JavaScript needs to be fixed, or maybe you fix it by some other introduction like this TypeScript. So we'll see what are the different weird things which which people are facing a lot of troubles when they are developing big applications both on the front end and back end side, right? So let me select the language over here, and it's JavaScript, right? So first thing, if generally this, right? So basically what our understanding was, if takes a boolean parameter, and if the boolean parameter is true, then the if block is executed, otherwise the else block is executed. It is anyone's understanding about the if. Right now I'm passing a number inside the boolean, right? So if you see here, console.log, hey, condition is true. So I'll console condition is true, right? So let me execute this. Let me save this first. Yeah, I'll save it on my desktop. JavaScript.js. I have created a sample file, which index.js, wherein we'll see the different weird things which JavaScript is made up of, and how it's gonna be a problem in our production-based applications, right? So for that, I have created an index.js file. So if you see here, console.log hello world. So I'll run this program now, index.js. Yes. So this is how I execute a simple JavaScript program. But yeah, coming to the problems which we are discussing. So mainly JavaScript has a weird thing called as changing the type. So since there are no defined types in JavaScript, it means you can technically store where a equal to 10, and later you can store a string. So see, first in any language, if you're declaring in a C language, if you declare it as a type of string, I can type it as a integer. But in JavaScript, there is no such defined types, and due to this, the value of the any variable can be of any type literally during the runtime of the program. This is one case where the number is being assigned with a string. That is one advantage, and also disadvantage. Advantage because now you don't really have to worry about any of the types, because everything can store anything, any kind of data. And another important thing is where a equal to, I can store literally anything onto string. But what was the actual definition, actual meaning of an array? Array is a contiguous memory. It allocates contiguous memory. I mean, two blocks. In C language, you define integer array of 10, it means it defines two blocks of memory for integer. But right now you see you are storing literally anything. An array can store another array, an array can store another object like this, right? And here you are defining some keys, right? So if you console.log this, it technically is not throwing any error. So see, yeah, it printed everything. So this is advantage and disadvantage, but trust me, when your application size grows and you don't know what type of data it is, when you see the type of data, it can be string, it can be number, it can be number array, right? So if you don't technically know what the type of is, then it's going to be really problematic for you. Let me show you one case of it, right? So if cases in JavaScript are very weird, and you need to be very careful, crystal clear what is going to happen with any of this, right? So basically if statement works like this, right? If true, then console.log hello, condition is true, right? So this is everybody's opinion that if condition takes a boolean parameter in the parenthesis, and if that condition evaluates to true, then it is fine. Your code is working as expected. Yes, as long as this is fine, yeah, then I'm good with it. But what happens when I give 0? So instead of giving a boolean parameter, first thing, my program is giving a 0. Technically I should receive an error, because this is not what I'm expecting to do, right? See, now though the condition is not evaluated to true, but technically what happens is your else block will be executed, right? So what is the problem in this? See, condition is false. The problem is, let's say you're fetching some data from the backend or some remote server or anywhere, right? So where a equal to true, then you don't know the value. The thing which I want to show here is that you don't know the value of it. Okay. Now the condition is true. Now what if the data from the backend, literally this variable can store any kinds of data. Now suddenly this data is sending you some 0. Maybe the condition has changed or whatever it is. Ideally our code should stop executing here and it says, hey, you received another value, right? Because of some system sent, instead of true, some system sent you a 0. Now your JavaScript code, instead of giving an error, it went into the another block, that is condition is false. Maybe let's say right now it doesn't look very much important to you, but over here, if in the else block there is a deletion process, maybe it's some critical thing which is going to affect your application a lot. In such scenarios, you have to you will be lost. You will be in total loss because your application data is deleted. So during the runtimes, if such things happen, it's not just the one thing, right? So right now, see, I'm giving an empty string over here. So technically I have to look at a boolean parameter, right? Now instead of 0, it gave me this, right? Now again the condition is false. What is happening? Okay. Now if I go and type string, okay, now instead of empty string, it is giving me some string with some string, right? Now the condition is true. So neither, if I am passing a string, either it should behave consistently that, okay, all string values are negative, but no, all the string values are, sometimes it is being negative, now sometimes it is being as true, right? So if you see here now, string, now let's say I am comparing two values, right, where a equal to this and b equal to 0. First thing, I am not allowed to compare two non-similar types. This is very important, right? Because how can you compare two non-similar things? You cannot compare a bike with a car. You cannot say my bike is weighing less than car if you are deciding on some factor. Similarly, you compare, if you can say that these, out of these two bikes, this bikes goes faster, because there the types of data which you are comparing are same. You cannot compare your strength with a monster, because those two are different. You will compare a monster strength with another monster. Similarly, so if you see here now, I can do literally this. Now, can anybody guess what is the value of this if A equal to B? Now let me execute it. Condition is false. Okay, so this is true, right? This is true and this is false. Okay, now if I have done this, condition is false, but when the string is empty, now the condition is true again. First mistake what here we are doing is that JavaScript is allowing you to compare two things, right? Second thing, the string comparisons are not consistent. Right? So how will you decide? Right? Now let me do one more thing. So maybe if I do like this, what is the output? True, so it should execute the first block because it is similar to string, right? So if I execute this, condition is true, perfect, right? Now if I execute this, true is equal to true. Now it says false. So see, when I ran individually, if of string true, then condition is true, right? If I ran this, then also my condition is true. Both the true conditions, I am trying to equate them, then the condition is false. All of this weirdness is because you are trying to compare two unequal or two different types, which you cannot, or which your language should definitely stop you from doing, because nobody knows when you are depending on dynamic data which is being formed from somewhere, some bug came in different application, different library, and those guys are returning some weird data. Your language should stop you. You should say, hey, this is wrong, right? I'll show you one more thing, right? So first, let me show you what is 1 by 2, right? This is perfect, right? This is totally normal, 0.5. Now my JavaScript allows me to do this also, where console.log of, it means technically it is allowing me to divide a number by string as well. It is not even throwing any error, and it returns some nan. Okay, so let me see what is this nan. Nan is basically, it means that it is a not a number. Okay, so where a is equal to nan. Now if I do this, if a console.log condition is true, what will happen? Can anybody guess? I'm trying to give a nan value in the if condition, so it is not executed. Perfectly all right, right? Now I'll do this string, totally fine. Now if I do this, a is false. Okay, now b is also false, definitely it's false. What if I do false equal to false? both are false, right? Both didn't execute the condition. But when I did false equal to false, false equal to false, it's a true condition, right? But the condition is not executed. What the heck is this, right? Similarly, the other thing, it also allows you to divide a number by an array also. Divide a number by array. This is also allowed in JavaScript, and the value returns is nan. So nan is not a number. Technically, it has to throw you an error, because what happens if I do a by b? It is not even stopping me from anything. So this is the first thing. So JavaScript has least number of restrictions on the data types, which is going to behave very inconsistently, and you don't even know, even though you are a senior most JavaScript developer, you don't know how your code is going to be executed during the runtime. That's why it is safe to assume or safe to maintain the types, because you know how the code is going to be executed. Even if you ask a senior most JavaScript developer, he'll take some time to say what is the output of this. What's the use of that if a language is so flexible that you can make a lot of mistakes? Who is going to use such a kind of language? So that's the reason the type conversions in JavaScript are very, very weird. So let me show you another example where you will be awestruck, right? So if now in the previous example, when it was divided by string, right, a equal to b, right? So it didn't execute. Now I am dividing it with a string. Now the condition is true. So see, I'm just trying to showcase you the weird behavior. So if I say, okay, now let me console.log both the scenarios where c equal to 1 by string, where d equal to 2 by string, 2 by string, right? Now a is, let me console.log all of these values, a comma b comma c comma d, right? And let me add two conditions, b, c and d, right? Let me execute it. So what happened in the first case? 1 by array is infinity. How come it is an infinity? 1 by 0 is an infinity. Okay, for a moment, let's assume that both of these might be equal 0. So what happened here? 1 by array is an infinity. That is what it is seeing. So what is infinity? 1 by 0, or any number by 0 is an infinity, right? It means array is equal to 0. So will this condition be true? Can anybody think of it, or can they dare to do that? Condition is true where the condition is 0. Okay, so see, array is equal to 0. What the heck? So can anybody say why an array will be equal to 0, right? So this is one more problem. So see, not just with one data type, it has problems with many data types. Like, see, now what happens if I do console.log 1 plus 2, 1 plus a string 2. First thing, it should throw me an error because I'm trying to add a number to a string. What happens? It gives me 12, but technically that is not 12. If you see, if 12 is equal to we'll print the type of 12. Console.log type of, so this is the way you get the type of a value, right? So see, type of 1 plus 2. So what did happened is, I'll show you. Type of 1 is number. Okay. Now I added 2. So the number string got appended with value 2, and here 1 has been converted to string and it prints you the string 12, not number 12. So what it is? It is something of this sort. If you now see, type of 1 plus this is a string. So no, I'm just showing all of these because how can you know what your application is doing? If you don't know how your application is going to behave in different scenarios, how will you write a better code in JavaScript? Sometimes it appends number to a string and it converts into string. First of all, it should stop. But instead of stopping, it is behaving as its own way, which you cannot guess at any time at any point of time. Then what's the use of it, right? Similarly, the other problem is console.log adding 2 arrays. Okay, I'll give a moment. For yourself. Think of the output without executing the code. Okay, so done. So what will be the output? Let's see. Oh my god, what happened? So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6. What exactly happened here? I tried to add numbers, okay, but it gave me something else. It gave me 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me check the type of it. Let me check the type of it. So definitely it got converted to string. First thing, this is not a string, this is an array, and the array doesn't store any string, right? Array doesn't store any string. But when you add 2 arrays which are holding numbers, JavaScript converted them into string. Can you guess why? Can you know why, or can you imagine why? Let me show you what happens. So whenever you are trying to add anything to a string, what it does is it converts. So see, the same output can be brought this way. 1, 2, 3 to string plus 3, 4, 5 to string. So see, oh sorry, I have to do 4, 5 and 6. So what happened? Implicitly, as a language, what is a language? It should work on our instructions. We say something and it works that way. Now it converts whatever data into its own form and it behaves in its own way. So if this is going to happen when you are going to build a big applications which are going to deal with lot of amount of data, where data can change anyway. So big database, somebody is changing data from some site, somebody is changing data from some other application. So all of these problems are really going to affect you. Not just the type conversions which are very bad in JavaScript. The other situations where it is let's say where a equal to, right, name Vasudev, age 100, right? Now what happens if I try to access a property a dot place? So first thing, if an object doesn't store that value, you should throw an error. You are not even allowed to access that property when you are writing the code itself, right? This is because, let's say, I'm not saying developers or engineers are dumb to access a property which is not declared, But what if while deploying the code to production, the value gets changed like this? The value gets changed like this. So here it is a typo error, which we are love to do. We enjoy doing typos in any programming language, and we love it. We do it with unknowingly, but we love it because we laugh. Hey, this is a typo, right? Now, if you execute this code, it says undefined. Now, here your console.logging, it is perfectly all right. But what if I do like this, where b is equal to $200 and this is some Marvel hero? Then if I do b dot h plus a dot h, some spelling mistake, okay, console.log, okay, see, nan. Now, okay, now the problem I'll explain. C name DC and h is equal to b dot h plus a dot each, some property which is not existent, but from my perspective this is h, because I am allowed to do typos, right? Now there was a condition to give everybody some bonus, like whoever the age is above 90, they are going to get some bonus. Okay, now A is going to get the bonus according to your business logic, B is going to get the bonus, but C, stupid guy, he is 300 years old, but still he doesn't get a bonus because you made a typo, but your language allowed you to do the typo. And if you see the console.log c.h, it gives you undefined. So due to your bug and due to your language flexibility, you have done this. You didn't get any bonus because of you. So this is the problem. So real world, I'm just talking in a very simpler terms, but real world problems are going to be very, very worse when you build applications in JavaScript because of the inconsistent behavior, wherein you can add string with an array to a number, you can divide number with an array, you can divide an array with a number, you can add two non-strings, you can do anything. You literally can do anything in JavaScript and it is not going to stop. So the problem is there. If your language is not going to stop you at some point of time in doing the mistakes, you will be doing the mistakes because the lines of code will be increased and you are going to face huge business problems because of this. That's the reason wherein you have to stop it from there, and you have to reach to a place where you want to use some language which gives you errors and which you stop doing all of these errors. That's where TypeScript comes into the picture, right? So yeah, so next video we'll see about why is TypeScript needed and how is it solving all of these problems, right?